NuxtJS, arguably one of my favorite web frameworks overall, in general, I would say. And one of the reasons, obviously, is because it's built upon Vue, and it's also actually pretty awesome. I would say it helps to when you're creating certain applications. It really helps with some of the features that it has, including SEO and the server-side rendering and all that great stuff that comes with it. One thing I don't necessarily like about it is that it's not customizable, and that is because it's very opinionated, which is good in certain applications, but the customizability isn't all that great. If you want true customizability, I think Vue is the best route. The vanilla Vue is the best route to go, and I've found myself in a situation that I had to do a little bit of a transition back to get certain customizability while using both of these. But it's awesome. That's all I want to say. The other thing I want to look at here is UIKit, and this is another framework arguably built upon Vue, if I remember correctly, or it has some amount of Vue in it. I don't remember. I think it does have Vue as a dependency in here. Where is it? I could be wrong. I guess I'm wrong, but I think it was built upon Vue at some point. But these are both two of my favorite frameworks. So this is for lightweight web development UI. It's pretty awesome. UIKit, I really love it. Just like how I love Vue, just the same. But connecting both of these for me has been one of the most difficult things ever. And that's because it doesn't have the best support. Like if you're connecting this via a normal Vue project, it's pretty easy to add UIKit to a normal Vue project, and everything works right off the box, just the way that it should. But with Nux, there's a small issue, and even though in the examples on the NuxtJS webpage here, you will find an example one for UIKit, and even a link to a page that strangely just doesn't work. It does what it's supposed to do for the most part, but there is a small limitation, and that is or there's a small issue, and I don't know if there's any bug report out for it. But what happened is that the icons does not load fast enough. So that is the issue. The icons doesn't load on the client, as far as I can say, or on the server. And one of them may take when you do the installation. And I tried to fix that. I also created this tutorial here, how to configure UIKit for better support. And I was just looking at a simple way. It had some amount of drawbacks. I would strongly suggest that you watch this tutorial before you continue, so that you have a better understanding of what we're going to look at right now. So pretty much this is a template that I created for creating Nux and UIKit. And as I said, it has pros and it has cons. There are about two different ways that I looked at how to do this. And the one that I looked at is basically what's it called now? Pretty much just downloading the file from here, the build file from UIKit, and just pasting it and just adding it to the static directory in the Nux project, and then loading the files here from the head, because you know that it loads from top to bottom. So basically what will happen there is that it will pick up the icons in the appropriate time, so that they are loaded on the page whenever the page loads. Because that's a problem. When we reload a page, you may see text on the page, but there's no icons. And for me, I didn't really like that. But this one is very tedious, because right now, when I created this, is at UIKit 3.7.3, and right now UIKit is at 3.137, which was just 11 days ago. And but as you can see, 6 hours ago they have done an update, and this is because they really do updates really quickly on this project here, which is really awesome. Now in this video, what I want to do is pretty much just create an update for this, and to look at an easier way of how to to do this, and it's because of something that I've been looking at while trying to just configure this and make it much easier. So I have my terminal open here. I'm going to cd into project, well, YouTube projects Vue, because this is actually still a Vue project, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy this one here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a git clone, and I'm going to paste it in here. And what I want to do is just to give it another name, because I'm going to give it an update name. So nuxt-uikit update, because I'm not going to delete this one. This is just another method of doing it, just one way of doing it, and this one is just another way. But this one I would say is probably another easier way. I'll create another little text stuff to show how to do this. So we're gonna clone this down, cd into here. One couple things that I want to go ahead and edit as we're here. So I'm going to do a vim to the package.json. I want to change the name in here. So let me just go into insert mode. So this is going to be update. I do not want this to be at the latest, and I want to explain this right now, and I think it's the best segue. The other day I created a couple of videos on not necessarily liking to use dependencies, external dependencies, and it's something that you can't, to some extent, when you're doing certain developments like web development, it's kind of hard for you not to use the dependencies, but keeping them at a certain version helps. Because what happened was that what I was talking about in the other video was pretty much a Node IPC issue with the protest where the bug that is in here, pretty much a malware as far as I can say, and that was because the persons, they updated to the latest version like immediately. So once the guy created the new version, everyone just basically downloaded it, and it would have messed with their project if they had certain IP. So I don't want the latest version of Nux, because as you can see, that can be a security issue, and it can break your code. So what I want to get is Nux at a certain version that I know that is stable. So I'm gonna go for, I think it was at 2.15 something. Yeah, 2.158. So that's 2.158, and I think UIKit, as I had mentioned before, was at 3.137. so these are the versions that I want. I don't think we need this. It doesn't matter. We could have kept it, but for some reason I don't want it. I want to keep this as simple as possible, or as minimalist as possible. So we're only gonna use the dev, even though we can always add back the script, but I don't want it. So dev, build, and start. So those are the only thing that we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and write this file, and we can go ahead and do a yarn, and we're gonna add those updates to our project now. So again, it's just updating Nux to putting Nux at the latest version, at a specific version and not necessarily the latest, and putting UIKit at the most updated version as well. Now if I do a yarn dev now, we're going to just go ahead and run the server. You'll see how fast it actually loads as opposed to the one that they recommend, which is the Tailwind. CSS Tailwind is awesome. I have nothing against it, but UIKit for me is one of my favorites. I would say it's easy to use. Tailwind has a little bit of a learning curve, but it's okay. It's a great framework, I would say. I don't have anything against it. Now if I go over here and go to localhost 3000, this is our project here, and if we go over to the about page, we have two icons here. If I refresh, you can see that the text is here because it's so fast and stuff, and because of how UIKit is lightweight. Nothing really changes. Like, you literally don't see anything change. Now the reason why these icons are showing is because because of the config that I created. What happened is that let me open a new tab, leave the server running there. I'm gonna go to Nux config, so you can see what we have in here. And before I even forget, let me just go ahead and just update this. And in here you can see that what we have here is two scripts that are loading from the top. So if I go ahead now and comment these out, So these are the files that we would have downloaded, and if you watched the video that I mentioned earlier, then you'll be able to see where we actually did this. So if I comment these out, because these are loading the files that we actually download into the static directory, that will save and it will reload the page here. And if I come back over here now, you'll see that when I refresh this, it disappears. So the icons are not being loaded, which is a serious problem. For as far as I can say, I think there it used to load. I don't know if I'm configuring it wrong. I don't think so. It used to load. If I go over here, they have an example, and this is where I'm getting it from. I think I had mentioned this before, that this is where I actually get this project from. I'm just refactoring so that it's better. So you can see they added it as a plugin and then load it there. So that is something that I need to do as well, that I'm actually going to do, I would say. So let me just go ahead and do that to make it better. So let me just ls what is in here, and then we're going to go to plugins, and then we cd, and we have this uikit.js file, and this is loading the icons, so it's importing the icons and stuff. But it doesn't work the way that it should, and I'm actually gonna show you guys by just configuring this thing here in the same manner. So I'm gonna cd back out here, and I'm not gonna vim the nux config folder, and see I already had it in here, but I actually just commented it out because I know that it doesn't work the way that it should. But I'm just gonna put it back so you guys can see exactly what happens. So if I write that, and all right, so if I go here now and refresh this, you can see that it loads, but what happens is that it disappears for a minute, and you can see that the text is still there. But we don't want that, because that doesn't really work for us. It doesn't work for me. I want to see the icons there, just like how the text is still there. I want to see the icons just the same. So what I'm gonna do here is we're going to do the same, and I'm gonna comment back these out, save this. Well, how we're gonna do this, let me just uncomment these, and I'm gonna just go ahead and set up the structure that I want in this project. So I'm gonna go ahead, these are in the static directory. As you can see, it's like slash, so you know that these are in the static directory. But one of the issues that with this is when we're downloading, you can see that this actually has a version to it. So the 3.7.3 is actually the version number, and we would have to constantly be downloading this over and over and over again. And you can see that as I had mentioned before, they actually update UIKit very frequently. So I'm gonna clear this off, and so we're just gonna go to a directory called JS uikit slash, and you have uikit min.js, and it's the same thing that I'm gonna do for this one here. So uikit slash. So we're just gonna create a JavaScript directory and a uikit directory in our static, and then we're gonna have the files that we're going to be loading from. And yeah, so that's how we're gonna work it. This is not the most intuitive way, but it's better than the one that I had created before, and I wanted to just share that. So let me just go ahead and write that, and I don't want to have to come out of this thing each time, so let me just go ahead and use this method. So what we want to do now is just to go to the static directory where we have here is uikit. I'm actually going to exit this, cd into static, so we list here. What I want to do is just to change the name of uikit to JS. Now we have JS, so if I cd now into JS, what we'll have is these, and you can see we also pulled down the CSS, and this is something that we don't need because it's already loading from the node modules. So if I go ahead now and do we're gonna remove this, and I'm gonna use this method because we have something in the directory. So now we should only have JS. So I'm gonna rename JS now into uikit. So uikit. So now we should have uikit, and that is the structure that we were looking at. So now if I cd into uikit, we have these. I only need 2 of these, which is going to be the icon min and the JavaScript min. So I'm going to remove the other ones that we don't need. So remove uikit icons.js, and we're also going to remove uikit min, well, just .js. So now we should only have the minified version because these are just more lightweight. So that's what we need. So in here, actually I'm gonna in here, if I should cat uikit.js, then this is what you'll find in here. And one thing I want to highlight is this version that we're seeing here. So you can see uikit 3.7.3, and this is the old version that we had. So let me clear this out. Now I'm gonna cd up back to the source, I believe. Cd back down. Well, it was addition, yeah. So in here, if we should go ahead and do an ls on the node modules folder, you can see here, I don't know if this is large enough for you to see. You'll see that we have a uikit here. So a uikit directory in here, and all of what we had in that different folder was already in here. So we don't necessarily need to be downloading any additional stuff. So what I want to do here is just to clear that out, and then I'm going to cd, I want to increase this a little bit more. So I'm going to cd into, let me just adjust the size. All right, that's better. So we're going to, you see, if you know the folder structure, then this will be easy for you. So I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this: the command line way, and also the GUI kind of way. So here, what I'm going to do is to first just remove, we're going to remove what's in the static directory. So what's in here, so the uikit.js, we're gonna just move the files right over here. It should automatically replace these, but I just want to remove them just in case. So what I'm gonna do is now to move, well, copy actually. So we're gonna copy what is in the uikit, so in the node modules uikit, and it should be in a this.js. And if you don't know what you're looking for and you're using the command line, you can tab and it will show you exactly the different. So you double tab and it will show you the different files depending on the distribution, because I'm using Linux for this one. So you can just double tab those. So what we want to move is the uikit .min file, and this is what we're going to move. So we're going to move it up this directory, so the directory that we're in, and we're going to go to static js uikit, and we're going to send it right there. And we also want the icons, so we already know the name, so we're going to go for icons, and then we're going to send this over now. So if I ls static js uikit, you can see that we now have the new ones that we need, and I had cat the information in here, so I'm going to show you that it's actually the same information. So for the min, well, not the same information, it's the updated one. So min.js, so you can see if I now go to the very top, so now you can see that this is now uikit 3.137. So now it's the latest version. So this is just a way, an easier way for us to just copy the information over to just moving them. And what I think I'm going to try to do is actually build a script that will automatically do this whenever we do an update, because that is just much easier for us than to just to make it easier. So now we have the latest version of uikit in here. Another way that you want to do this, if you're not using the command line as I am doing, you could open this in something like VS Code, or for me in my instance I'm using VS Codium. So we could pretty much just go to node modules here, find uikit. All right, here we go. So uikit this JS, and we have the min icon so you can see all of it here. You can do like a simple select all, so that's Control A, and then you could copy it, right click on Control C, and then you can go ahead and come over to this folder here, JS UIKit. It's already in UIKit, and then you can just basically come and just select all and paste, and it should paste the information. So it's pretty much the same thing that I just copied over and paste it right in here. You can see the version number is the same, and then you just save it, unless you have autosave on, so that will work as well. And this should work. That is pretty much it as it relates to that. So you don't have to be downloading any other additional stuff. So that is pretty much it for this tutorial, as best as I can say. It was a little bit lengthy, but that was pretty much it. Just copying over the information from the node module instead of downloading the file. So again, I was saying I want to create a script that will automate this, that will make it much easier for us. And the server was already running, so we have it right here, and it would have loaded everything over again. So if I should come and refresh now, you can see that it's still working the way that it should. It's not waiting to load the thing, and which is pretty much what we want. So it's still showing there, and it's not stopping and disappearing or whatever. So that is pretty much it for this tutorial. I'm gonna upload this soon and update the information on how we can do the reconfiguration of these. So that is pretty much it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.